out my...
So it's Thursday, so that means the weekend is almost here. And if you're looking for fun activities around town to check out, look no further than Miss Art Zone, Nancy Guppy. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Michael King. It's good to see you.
Give me a hug. Come here.
Okay, I'll give you a hug. Yeah, we're huggers. We like each other.
Yeah, okay.
We like each other. Known each other a
So
long time.
a lot going on this weekend, right?
Lots going on, kind of starting this weekend and then kind of going into April. So I'm going to start with Mike Stafford. Mike is a huge, big-time painter in the Northwest. He's been painting for over 60 years.
You would know.
I would know. Art Zone. So in museums, in galleries, and in public art spaces. So he is a storyteller. That's him right there. And much of his subject matter is based on kind of epic mythology. Case in point is this really huge triptych. It's not that. That's downtown somewhere. But this huge triptych, which was commissioned for the Washington State Legislature in 1981. It's called The Labors of Hercules. There was a little bit of controversy around it. It ended up being pulled out of the of Olympia, but it's now in Centralia College, which is definitely worth a road trip.
Controversy is good for artists.
It's always good for artists because they're saying something.
Gotta push it.
So Mike's son, Spike, and his daughter-in-law, Lisa Dutton, have done an incredible job of putting together this retrospective of Mike's work. It's called Michael Stafford, The Epic Works. Close to 100 paintings will be shown simultaneously in 3 galleries around town. So the viewer is going to have a huge a sense of his scope and his kind of artistic vision. So it runs at Grey Cussera, Woodside Braseth, and Davidson Galleries April 5th through May 26th. And there is a really beautiful book that goes along with the show. So it's worth going to see.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah. All right, so there's modern dance.
Right.
Michael.
My daughter's taking modern dance right now.
Okay, well, so there's modern dance that's good.
Okay.
And then there's modern dance that's off the charts, fantastic.
Okay.
And that's what I want to talk about. So there's a really great company. It's called Kid Pivot. They're out of Canada, and they're led by a woman named Crystal Pite. She's a choreographer, just an amazing artist. And so they are returning. Kid Pivot's coming back to Seattle with Electric Company Theater. They're also out of Canada, and they're doing this show. It's called, I think it's Bertoff. I don't know how you say that. How do you say that? That's a German word.
Oh, I think German. I should hang on.
Betroffenheit? Betroffenheit.
Yep, you got it. Betroffenheit.
Betroffenheit. And it's a hybrid of dance and theater. It's kind of hard to describe it, but it's about basically the shock and bewilderment you feel when you've kind of dealt with some sort of disaster, whether it's just an internal disaster or maybe a natural disaster. Now, that might not sound particularly fun, but I've seen this show in particular. They're bringing it back. It's riveting. You cannot take your eyes off of it, and it's worth seeing. So it's March 23rd and 24th, Friday and Saturday this weekend at the Moore Theater.
Nobody dances like the Germans.
No, the Germans, they can dance. They can dance. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about food, and this would be a great person to come on to New Day at some point. So local chef Becky Selengut, she has just published her 5th book, and I'm going to read, it's a long title, okay? How to Taste, The Curious Cook's Handbook to Seasoning and Balance from Umami to Acid and Beyond with Recipes. Long title, all to say it's all about diving into the science of taste, and the sole purpose is to teach home cooks kind of how to put flavors together.
Oh, cool.
So Becky teaches classes as well, and she says that a common problem that home cooks like myself come up against is when something doesn't taste right, a dish isn't quite right, we don't know how to fix it, to add, what to add or what not to add. So that's exactly like, oh, just throw some salt in. Not always the best fix. So How to Taste, it's well written, it's not overly academic, it's really, really helpful, and it's available in bookstores and online. And she teaches classes at the Pantry in Ballard, and so you can, the link is on the New Day website. It's the How to Taste classes, they're great. So
and she has been on the show.
She has?
Yes, she has, and she's also scheduled to be on soon.
Oh, fantastic. Well, good. See, you guys you always have your finger on the pulse. So finally, I'm going to talk about 2 photo exhibits. They're pretty intense. One, June on the Verge. This is a very provocative show of portraits by a South Korean artist. Her name is June An. So this is her first solo exhibit on the West Coast. I find her pictures to be amazing and frightening at the same time, which really ties into her intention of exploring strength and vulnerability, illusion and reality. So kind of wow and yikes, because I have a thing about heights, and that really scares me. And these are for real. Like those are her legs and her feet. So Junon on the Verge runs now through April 8th at Photographic Center Northwest, which is up on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff.
Now finally, and this is a beautiful show, and maybe you've already seen it, it's called Ciel on the Spot, the photographs of Al Smith. And Al was a Seattleite and a photographer, a local guy. He captured the vibrant lives and the kind of the characters in the African-American community in Seattle over a 65-year period.
Cool.
So there's over like 200 pictures in this exhibit, and they're really kind of journalistic in a way. I mean, it's him going into jazz clubs, church events, family gatherings, and that kind of thing. So they really tell the story of his life and his times. And this exhibit, Ciel on the Spot, the photographs of Al Smith, it runs now through June 17th at the Museum of History and Industry, otherwise known as MoHi, at the South Lake Union, down in the South Lake Union neighborhood. So definitely worth checking out.
I've seen a lot of his work, and I love the way he makes the mundane look spectacular.
Exactly, and you can really recognize yourself, I think, in those kind of photographs. Like, oh yeah, I did that with my kid, or I was on the beach, or whatever. Yeah, it's a connector in a lot of ways, you know. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Oh, I'm happy to be
Another
here.
hug.
Always. Okay, more hugging. More hugging.
Thanks, Nancy. Nancy Guppy right here. Don't forget to check out Art Zone with Nancy Fridays at 8 on the Seattle Channel. And so we go from Nancy Guppy to puppies. National Puppy Day is tomorrow.
Cute as that.
But we're getting a kind of a jump start with some adorable, adoptable little guys, wall-to-wall puppies after this.